rage or anger. So let me tell you a story by Buddha. It's a Zen story, and in that story what happened is when Buddha came to give a discourse, he brought a handkerchief with him. And while he was giving the discourse, so all his disciples were looking at him, and suddenly he is bringing a silk handkerchief with him. Usually he never brings such expensive objects with him. So they were all looking at him, and while he was giving the discourse, Buddha was slowly tying notes. So he was making notes like this. And by the end of the discourse, some of his disciples asked him, what you were trying to tell us with this? And Buddha said, we all face problems in our life. And these problems are like these notes. And when we try to face these problems and when we try to solve these problems, we think more and more about the problems. And what we are doing this, we are doing like this. Can I untie this note by this? Do you think I can untie the note by doing like this? No. So how I can untie this note? For that, first of all, I have to observe this, right? Then try to untie it by looking at the note, how it is noted. Looking at that only, I can untie this. The same thing applies to our life also. In our life also, when we are facing problems, we all face it by being inside the problem. We will always be inside the problem and we will be looking around. And when we face a problem like that, it becomes very difficult. We are all trying to tie the knot more and more, tighten it more and more. But in mindfulness, what we are doing is we are taking a step back. We are looking at the problem. We are noticing the problem. It's a gentle approach. So even if we may not be able to solve the problem, what happens is we will be able to accept it. It may not stress us. So instead of getting stressed out or angered out, we will be able to accept the problem. So that is what we are going to discuss today about mindfulness. So how we can be mindful. So what are you holding on to in your life that may be causing you more harm than good? This is the question I want all of you to ask yourself. What you are holding on to which can be harm to you? Let it go. Approach the life in a cautious way, in a gentle way. Be kind to yourself so that you will not be tightening your knots, but you will be at least loosening your knots. So, let me tell you the story of these two women, Kara and Lisa. They are actually friends. And when they meet together, what's the difference you're finding in them?
Kara is very serious.
Kara is very serious. Is she looking stressed out?
Yes.
And what about Lisa? She has that smile, right? A pleasant looking. Okay. So these two women, they are friends, they are of the same age. But many people who are seeing them, they think that Kara is older than Lisa. Because of the way her face is, the expression is. And when they're having their talk also, like they meet once a month just to talk, just have that female time. And when they're talking, you will always find Kara complaining because she is a divorcee and her husband is not taking care of her children. Her boss is always very bad to her. So she has a lot of complaints, and along with that she now just thinks that her heart is like not functioning properly. So her health is waning down. And one day she asked Lisa, "Why you're looking so pleasant?" So what we understand here is Lisa is not having less amount of problems. She is a widow. She has two children, two small children, and she has started her own business. So she is also having problems. But the way they approach, the way they are looking at the life, that makes it different. Their outlook in the life is making it very different. So one of them is approaching the life with that positive outlook, whereas the other person is looking at with that negative approach. And that makes all the difference in their body. So a person's lifespan, you can divide it into like health span and disease span. We all will die one day. So how long we will be healthy and how long we will be in disease. that is decided by your outlook on life. So if you look at the lifespan of Kara has a shorter health span and a longer disease span. And Lisa has a longer health span and a shorter disease span. Her health also will fail after some time. She will also grow old, but that is for a shorter time period. And she will enjoy better health for a longer time. And that's just because of her outlook in life. So this story and what I'm going to speak today, I have taken it from this book called The Telomere Effect. This is a book written by two scientists, Elizabeth Blackburn and Eliza Apel. One of them is a neuropsychologist and other neuroscientist, and another person is a psychologist. So they did some experiments and they found out the real reason for why our health span is shortening because of stress, or what makes our life shorter just because we have stress, and how we can overcome that. So to understand that, we have to go into the cell. So I'm going to teach you some biology. So we zoom into the cell, we go into a thing called the nucleus, which is controlling our cell, and inside that we have something called the chromosomes, inside which we have our DNA. I hope you all know what is DNA?
Yeah.
Okay. So DNA is what controls our characteristics, what controls many of our behaviors. So actually it is our DNA what makes us what we are now. So we are going to see how the DNA is trying to control our health span and the disease span. The first one I have shown here is a shoelace. The tip of the shoelace, that plastic thing, that's called an aglet. And the other one is our chromosome, which is also having a similar tip. So what happens when you lose that aglet from your shoelace? What happens to your shoelace? You can see that it gets splayed. And do you think you will be using the shoelace for more?
No.
You will not be able to use that for a long time, right? If you lose that, it starts playing out and you won't be able to use that for long. And just like that, the protective covering, just like how the aglet is protecting the shoelace, we have a protective covering called the telomere for our chromosomes. And the length of the telomeres decides the lifespan of the cell. How long the telomere is, that is deciding the lifespan of the cell. The cell is able to divide only when we have a certain length of the telomere. And the telomere usually wears down. So what wears our telomeres down? And can we do something about that? These are situations which will wear down our telomeres, like how we are responding to situations. So when you are facing a problematic situation, you can go into a rage like this. Many of us respond like this. Oh my God, what I'm going to do? Or you start crying, you start beating your head. So all these things makes your telomeres shorter. So this is one situation which can make it shorter. Then abused as a child. Child abuse can actually reduce the telomere. So a small child who is growing up in adverse conditions are always having this span, having a shorter span or a shorter health span. And another thing is our length of the telomere is actually inherited. So even if we are not going through stressful situations, if our parents were going through stressful situations, even that can affect our telomeres. Even that can shorten our telomeres. Because if they had shorter telomeres, we inherit that from them. But the good thing is, we can overcome all these things. We can actually increase the length of the telomeres because there is an enzyme called telomerase which can increase the length of the telomeres. And their experiment have proved that when we practice activities like mindfulness, when we start understanding that life is not a war where you have to always be angry and stressed out, but you can look at the life in a peaceful way, a gentle way, then you can actually lengthen your telomeres. So, we are going to have our first mindfulness activity. I invite Kabeer sir for it.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I suppose you have heard about mindfulness practice, which essentially comes from the Buddhist Zen-Buddhist practices. But you would even relate it to the Tantric practices, which is detailed in Vijnana by Moshe has written 2 volumes on this. Well, mindfulness, she spoke about the scientific aspect of mindfulness, and then I'm going to go to the practical aspect. Having finished, I may ask you to close your eyes. I may assume certain postures. Just have it. I suppose
കേൾക്കത്തില്ല. Not audible. He's not audible.
not audible. थोड़ा सा so we are into mindfulness practice. Please make your hands free, put your feet flat on the floor. Make your hands free, left and rest on your lap. I want you to be just aware of what are visible things that are around us. You don't have to strain, like turning back or side. Just be aware of all sides we have around us. You can aware of that. Look at them and just as if you are seeing it for the first time in your life.
Can be little more louder.
One is in more down.
You can hold your mic.
Mic മൗത്തിനോട് ചേർത്ത് വെച്ചാൽ nothing wrong. What is? Hold it.
I will go silent and in a little more.
Then you can lower it.
I think activity
Lower ആക്കിയാൽ മതി.
instructions for
Instruction കൊടുക്കുമ്പോഴേ everyone hear it properly.
So become aware of what all sights you see around us, what sensations you feel in your body as we sit in the room on the chair. Now I want you to close your eyes. Please close your eyes. And I want you to be aware of all the different sounds we can hear around us. All the loud ones, all the soft sounds. Become aware of all the sounds. Now, become aware of your sensations in the body as you are sitting in this posture on the chair. You don't have to make any change in the situation, but simply become aware of whatever things you feel. And now I want you to be aware of your breathing process. You don't have to change anything about it. Just pay attention to the process of breathing with your eyes closed. Are you breathing slow or are you breathing fast? What do you feel on the chest as you breathe? Is there a movement? What do you feel in your stomach? Is there a movement? Just observe. You can mimic the sensations on your nostrils as you breathe. How you feel as you inhale, and how you feel as you exhale. Even as you are observing your breathing, thoughts may come. Don't select any thought, don't stop any thought either. Whenever you find yourself lost in a thought, bring it back to the breathing again. Not by way of force, but by way of paying attention. Alright, thank you. Now you can open your eyes. As we rightly spoke, mindfulness is not about forcing or concentrating on anything, but it's about paying attention to the breathing process. We have so much research backing to the effect that this is scientifically proven. You know, Mind and Life Institute of Dalai Lama, they hold a conference every year consisting of scientists and people who do research in the field. And you can also Google, you can search in YouTube. Amish Jha is a neuroscientist doing research in mindfulness. And it is found to be very effective, even with American Marines, how it helps their cognitive attention span, how it helps them to relax. So this, I would say, this is the most researched area in psychology. I don't know whether it's psychology or neuroscience at present, but the effect is proven. And there are no, I just found only one study which rather points out the drawbacks of it, and that study too is on the deviants, people who had problems, not with the general population, people practicing it for 10 years and more. So I don't think that's very conclusive, because that was done in Brown University in Britain, and in the same university Amish Jha is doing research in 2007. So you can refer to that to know more about practice. Also, we'll talk more about other aspects. We'll have more activities after this.
So we are going to see, so we saw like what mindfulness is. We had a short experience in that, and now we are going to see how the stress is actually hurting ourselves. It's just like this, like an assailant in the back who is always waiting for you, trying to kill you. The stress is doing that same thing to your body. So what happens to us when there is stress? When you're suddenly stressed or you're suddenly scared, what happens to your body? What are feelings you have?
Panic.
Panic. So what are the changes you find in your body?
You start sweating, your heartbeat goes up.
Yeah, your heartbeat starts becoming faster. You're sweating. Yes. Losing concentration, you are not able to concentrate in what you're doing and your blood pressure goes up. What happens to your breathing?
Yeah.
It becomes faster and shallower. When you're taking a deep breath, you're taking the breath to your stomach. And when you are under a panic attack or when you're stressed out, your breathing is from here, shallow breathing. Okay? So, a sudden stress usually makes us work well. Like you have to do a presentation today evening. You will have some amount of stress. If that is not there, you are not going to prepare for that. Right? So there is the good stress, which is called the eustress. But when you are under stress for a long time, then your body reacts differently. This is called chronic stress, a long-term stress, which releases steroid hormones like cortisol in our body. So a sudden stress, a sudden fight or flight reaction is usually due to epinephrine or adrenaline. You might have heard about that, right? An adrenaline rush, the fight or flight hormone, which just prepares you to act. That is actually good for the body. It makes you prepared for an emergency situation. But at the same time, a long-term stress is releasing very bad hormones in your body, like cortisol, which can hurt your cells, which can hurt your telomeres, which can shorten your telomeres. So in that book I referred to earlier, the telomere effect, what they have done is they have done research on caregiver mothers. Mothers who take care of ill children, sick children, children who need constant attention. They did experiments on them and the control group was mothers who have healthy, normal children. So they found out that for most of these mothers who are always under the stress of looking after these sick children, especially if you are sick, you become demandful on others. And at the same time, if it is a child, the demand will be much more. So the mothers were totally worn out, totally stressed out, and they saw that the telomeres have been very, very short. And when you compare them with the control group mothers, those mothers are also undergoing stress. Even if you have a normal, healthy child, the child goes through a lot of things, but as a mother, you get stressed out. So that is also there. But compared to them, these mothers had shorter telomeres. But they found out that there is some deviation in some caregiver mothers who had normal or even lengthier telomeres. So what makes them different? They started thinking about that. So how you can control your stress or how you can make your telomeres long, the first and foremost thing is understand your emotions. What are you going through? What is that emotion? Many times we find that when we are sad, we express it as anger. Right? You may be feeling sadness inside you, you may be feeling helpless, and the way you are expressing it will be like anger. So you are not actually knowing what emotion you have inside you. That's why you are expressing it in that way. So understand your emotions. Go through the emotions. Then train your brain to understand what is happening there. So your brain is like a small puppy. You buy a puppy and you want to train it. Actually, this story was given to me by Dawson. Okay. So I would like to acknowledge him for telling you the story, before telling you the story. So you buy a small puppy and you want to train it to sit on a carpet over here. How you will train that? You put it over here, it runs away, right? Again you bring it, put it over here, again it runs away. But you do that many number of times and the puppy learns that, okay, this is my place. It sits there. The same way you can train your brain. But even after you train this puppy for 1 year or 2 years, it sees a sandal there, it may run away to chew that. Or it sees a treat there, it may run away to chew that. But the thing is, you can easily bring it back. So you have to train your mind. And one very good way of training your mind is by doing mindfulness activities. Mindfulness activities or mindfulness meditation helps you to train your brain so that even when you are under stressful situations, you will be able to react to it differently. If I ask you not to think of a tiger for the next 30 seconds, how many of you will be able to do that? Don't think of tiger. Don't think of that the yellow and black striped animal which walks through the forest. How you will be able to do that? Will you be able to do that? And I constantly speak about tiger, tiger, tiger. Will you be able to do that?
No.
So this is what happens when we are going through a stressful situation. When we are facing a problem, we are thinking about the problem. We are not able to stop thinking, and that is doing a lot of harm to us. So your condition will be like this. Oh, I can't stop thinking. Because you are thinking about the problem, and when you are inside the problem, you won't be able to see a solution for that. So what you have to do is, you just come out, watch the problem, and then you will be able to find a solution for that. So, how much stress is too much? What's your barren limit of stress? Just like I told you earlier, some amount of stress is always needed. A child who is saying that I don't have any stress to write the exam, usually will not perform well in the exam. Child should have some amount of stress. When you are preparing a project, when you are preparing for something very important in your life, you are supposed to have some amount of stress. That is actually healthy for your body, even for your telomeres, it is very healthy. Some amount of stress is always eustress, the good amount of stress. But when it crosses the limit and goes to the distress portion, then our body is under the constant threat, just like that assailant waiting for us, trying to shorten our health span and increase our disease span. So, what you are supposed to do is, instead of threatening your telomeres, try to challenge it. Small amount of stress is always good. Try to challenge it with small stress. But understand why you are having the stress. Instead of thinking and getting worked out over a problem, you can look at that problem in a different angle, try to solve it. So, I'd like to hand over to Thrissur for the next mindfulness activity.
Well, she spoke about training the brain. We very well know that Indian philosophy speaks about how to be kind of detached, Why are we worried in the first place? Have you ever questioned it?
Feeling of
Why are we
insecurity.
worried in that?
Feeling of insecurity.
Feeling of insecurity. Right.
What will happen if I do?
Projecting the misfortunes to the future. Our worries are projected into the future. What will happen tomorrow? Not knowing. Essentially, worries are there because we fail to emotionally separate a thought and emotion. For example, when thinking about tomorrow's plans, it's a thought, it's not a fact, it's not a reality. And I fail to recognize that the emotions are also associated with the thoughts. We fail to often differentiate between thought and feeling. In the same way, we fail to differentiate between what is inside and what's outside. We kind of get entangled, enmeshed with a lot of things. The Gita speaks about it. Asanga jayade kama, kama krodama vijayade, krodal bhavati samoha, samoha smriti pramshaha, smriti pramshaha buddhinasha, buddhinasha pranashyati. We very well know the philosophy is there. But the question is, how do we go about doing it? How do we differentiate the self from what is not the self? See, when I lose something, it's a material object. It's when I identify myself with the object that when I lose it, I'm distressed, isn't it? So attachment essentially brings about worry. And what is the solution? Differentiating the self and not self. What is not myself. And mindfulness is actually a practice of doing that. Knowing what is emotion and what is thought, differentiating emotion and thought, knowing what is me and not me. This essentially is brought about by practicing mindfulness. In other words, they say it's a witness position. We are kind of developing a witness position to what all things happening around us. Let us now move on to the second mindfulness activity. Again, please sit straight with your spine erect. Your hands on the lap, your feet not crossed, flat on the floor. I request you to close your eyes. Watch your breathing. Even as you are breathing, many thoughts flood into our awareness. Let them come. But again, try to anchor to the breathing process. Now I want you to visualize, imagine a white room and you are inside the white room. The white room has two doors, one to come in and the other to go out. See in your mind's eye a white room and you are inside the white room. It has two doors, one to come in, the other to go out. And imagine that your thoughts are coming through one door and it goes out through the second, the out door. For the next 50 seconds or so, I want you to visualize yourself sitting inside the room and imagine that thoughts are coming from one door. Try to name the thought. Is it a happy thought or an unhappy thought or a hopeful thought or a pessimistic thought, whatever it is? Just name it and let it go to